Hi, my name is Andrew Kinnear. I'm the founder of Freebruary. Thanks for joining us for this limited interview series with entrepreneurs from across Canada. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, my name is Mario Fleury, and I am the co-owner and president of B Sweet Inc.
Mario, it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us for this Freebruary interview. Why don't you tell me a little bit about where you are right now?
I'm currently sitting in my home office in Mississauga, Ontario.
And Mississauga is where you manufacture your product as well?
Yes, our product is manufactured in Mississauga as well.
Awesome. Why don't you tell us a bit about B Sweet?
Okay. Well, B Sweet started many years ago where my partner had the idea and always wondered why there was no alternative for honey as there is for maple syrup. And I don't need to name that brand, but that brand went on to be somewhat successful. We're talking billions just in North America. So we went on to develop a product for honey. So basically we wanted to develop a product that is, looks, tastes, behaves, same color, same viscosity as real honey. It took us a couple of years to do so because we wanted to get it just right. And of course, getting the flavor system was fairly complex to the point where we ended up using some real honey in our formula to give us some of those background notes that we couldn't achieve with just flavors alone.
Amazing. So when you say use real honey, is that the equivalent to like a maple syrup, using a little bit of real maple syrup to enhance the flavor, but you're making up for it and you're finding other benefits with the rest of the ingredients? Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's actually trying to find a balance. So the brand that I spoke of doesn't use any real maple syrup in it, but we do have a certain amount of real honey, and we only use Canadian honey in our formulas. And it's finding that balance where, you give them that nice flavor background of real honey mixed in with your other ingredients. But of course, our product is a value proposition. So at the retail level, we offer 40 or 50% less for people that, really, and especially these days where honey, like everything else on the food shelves, has gone through the roof, and inflation, a kilogram of honey can run you anywhere from $11.99 to $13.99. So if you're a single mom or dad with 2 or 3 kids making $18,000 a year, you're probably going to go buy the honey aisle, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So as we develop the product, as we say, our slogan is a little bit like enjoy the taste of honey, but save a bunch of money.
I love it. And you know what, this is Mario, this is the first product that we're talking about on this interview series that is specifically addressing value as opposed to some health benefit. And like almost every product we've talked to entrepreneurs about have been like, this is a better product because it has X, Y, and Z, or this is a product that is organic, or we make it ourselves. Whereas you're actually talking about a product that's made to save people money, and still taste great. So that's really interesting to hear that, because we haven't had that yet on this show.
Well, you bring about such a good point because, we came out with a secondary product, which I'll talk to you about in a little bit, but it's a vegan organic honey, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. But back to your point is that, when I'm talking with our marketing groups, or I'm talking with our brokers and distributors, I mean, they get so excited about the vegan organic honey, and then we're seeking influencers, and all the influencers are all about natural, and they're all about vegan, and they're all about this. And then I finally found an influencer that was a mom in Quebec, and she had like 35,000 followers, and she was basically doing grocery shopping as a profession and sharing all of her findings, where the average mom or dad could find some deals out in every, grocery market out there. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So certainly that was, our thought behind this product. And, sometimes we go to the grocers and they say, well, you might take some sales away from my honey, whatever. Actually not, because as I was, telling you just a minute ago, a lot of people go buy the honey aisle right now because they just can't afford it. And, we've done a lot of, took 2 years to develop this product because we wanted to get it just right. Mm-hmm. And we've had some food technologists actually do a blind Pepsi challenge taste test.
Yes.
And I remember one test, we had 25 of them, and 18 of the food technologists, not Joe Mario on the street, chose Bee Sweet as being real honey, right up against real honey. So we thought we got pretty close to real honey when we did that.
That's excellent. When you made me think of a question here when we're talking about the moms in Quebec. Who is the typical audience for a product like yours when you start to evolve your product line into, say, vegan or organic? Are you really trying to market to two groups now too? So you've got the value seeker, but now you're looking for a better for you audience, or is it really you want a better for you product for that value seeker audience? Like, can you describe that a little bit for us?
Very, very good question, Andrew. So yes, of course, they're two very, very different products with very, very different target market. But again, both with the, ours is called a honey spread or the vegan honey. It's about educating the consumer, right? Mm-hmm. So the consumer will walk up and see this bottle, right? And by the way, we've put our product in a convenient inverted bottle with a drip-free cap, making it easy for even the kids to use. But, they'll pick up the bottle and they'll look in the back and they'll say, oh, there's honey in there and there's glucose and fructose. And so I say, yes, there's glucose and fructose because, honey is made up primarily of glucose and fructose. So to the point where we've matched how much glucose is in honey and how much fructose is honey so that we could match exactly the viscosity and the sweetness of honey, mm-hmm. except that our glucose and fructose comes from corn versus the flour. And there's only one molecule for glucose. I'm sorry, but I have a food chemistry background here, so I'm going to sound a bit like a nerd here, but there is only one glucose molecule and one fructose molecule. Doesn't matter if it comes from a flour or corn or strawberry, or you pull it out of a hat, there's only one molecule and it's the same thing. But it's about educating the consumer that, when they're eating honey, it's sweet. They're eating glucose and fructose. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, the first decision is like, we're going to put sugar on something, and then it's going to be what sugar are we putting on? So that totally makes sense.
Yes, exactly. And again, chemically, there is absolutely no difference. Now, honey has some ingredients in minor amounts that are actually meant for the bees. So, honey is the only food that humans consume that is made by insects, except that those insects make honey for themselves for the winter, right? So listen, there's a lot of responsible beekeepers out there, and there are a lot that are not. And especially when honey gets so expensive now, most of the time, the large beekeepers will take all of the honey from the bees and they will feed them basically granular sugar put into a solution, and that's what they get. So the minor ingredients that I'm talking about in real honey are for the bees and help the bees with their health, not so much for humans. So again, nutritionally, if you look at the nutritional panel on our product, is very, very similar to honey. Is it exactly the same? No, it's not, but it's very, very similar. Now, if we go to the vegan organic product, so basically this is 100% bee friendly because it contains zero honey. This we claim to be approximately 90% bee friendly, so saves you a lot of money and is still very much bee friendly. Mm-hmm. This is 100% bee friendly. So again, there's an educational process with the consumers. I mean, the diehard vegans certainly get it. And then when we developed the product, we not only made it vegan, but we made it organic, all natural for that segment of the market. But it is also more expensive than our original product.
How do you tackle educating the consumers? Is it all done digitally? You're using your website for that, or is there on-shelf marketing that you do? Tell me a bit about how you're educating your customers.
Well, there goes my learning curve, which I'll talk to in just 1 second. But I just want to point out that because you're talking about pricing, and so both of my products, there are no other products like it in North America.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And the vegan honey, I mean, there's a plethora of products that claim to be, vegan honeys. And so people will tell you to use agave syrup, use maple syrup, or now what we're seeing are apple and date-based products that are out on the market, which you don't have to be a food chemist to know that they look and taste very little like real honey, but yet they are out on the market because people are grasping. Because, you know, when I first came out with this product, you know, I've had a lot of people call me and say, you know what, I'd given up on enjoying the taste of honey again because I'm a true vegan. So the products that are out there now in North America are at least 40 to 50% more than our product. They taste and look nothing like honey. They're in a glass jar. They tend to crystallize and they tend to discolor. Both of our products, which an added benefit, will not crystallize. So that's a benefit for the consumer. So there is, not only are you paying less for the product and you have no waste because of our bottle, but also it won't crystallize, which people sometimes end up throwing it out and or microwaving or whatnot. It's also critical for the retailer because I don't know if you've walked down a honey aisle in the wintertime, you are likely to find a quarter to half of the honey start to crystallize. Again, crystallization is not bad. You can still eat the honey. It's absolutely perfectly fine, but it's a little more difficult to use, right? And so you have to heat it and reblend the honey to be able to use it.
And it affects the buying experience too. I mean, if you're walking down that aisle, are you going to grab something that's half crystallized or are you going to grab something that's liquid? So even just the buying experience is different.
100%.
Yeah. Amazing. Mario, I have a bit of a business question for you. Tell me how you got your start. Okay. How did you go from not having a honey company to a honey company? I don't know how long ago this was, but tell me that transition for you. What was that journey like?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I have a food chemistry background, and my first job was with a large Canadian company, and I was working in a laboratory. So I was the nerd with the white jacket and doing tests all day long. But what I did is I used that knowledge and I learned from so many people within that company. And then I just kept growing into different jobs within the company, ended up getting in sales, and then joined this new unheard of company in sales. And then I ended up becoming a co-owner and president of that company. So I know food ingredients. I mean, we sold anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000 different ingredients. So my knowledge, and we sold to major manufacturers like Nabisco, Heinz, and Nestle. So I have a lot of experience with ingredients, with developing products with these major companies. And so we sold a company quite some time ago, and I had retired. And then my friend who had the original idea of why isn't there an alternative for honey came to me. And then I developed the product for him. And then, off to the races we went. So we started to sell the product industrially to large manufacturers. We've got large meat processors that use it in a honey ham glaze. We have large bakeries that are using it. And then we proceeded to go to food service level. And that was just a few years ago. And then we got, a couple of major chains that have started to use the product, which again has saved them not only serious money in their ingredient costs, but also in the restaurant environment, it's time and ingredient costs. So they've also saved a lot of time in using this product versus the normal bottle of honey where you'd have a chef, right, just waiting for that honey to come out. So fast forward to COVID, and not a whole lot going on the food service side in the last couple of years. So then retail was my weak link. I have zero to nil experience on the retail side. But fortunately, I found a good broker on the retail side. And within, less than a couple of years, I mean, we've gone, we've worked with Loblaws, have been a great partner with the Made in Ontario program, which initially got us into Loblaws, Zehrs, your independent grocers, Value Marts, City Markets, et cetera. And then, from there, Sobeys has become a good partner as well. And we're in many Sobeys and Foodlands. And now great news, just the other day, we just got listed at Freshco, which is a discount banner, which really is the kind of store where this product really, really belongs. A few years back, we'd done a test at a few no frills, and we were outselling honey 3 or 4 to 1.
That's amazing.
So I thought when going into retail, if we could sell 25% as much as honey sells, that would be wonderful. But we've proven time in, time out that we can outsell honey 3 and 4 to 1 consistently, of course, because the product looks and tastes just like honey, is nutritionally very similar, and offers a 40 to 50% discount.
Amazing. Mario, what's next for 2022? Do you have any exciting plans for the business in 2022, 2023?
As I look at my board here, which tells me what to do every day. We've got a lot of exciting things happening, both with the spread and the vegan. So working with some of the other discount banners, we're working with Loblaws. Currently in Loblaws, we're in different parts of the store. With the vegan, we really belong in the natural value section. So we're working on that. Whole Foods have said that they want to bring our product in. So the next planogram is July. So we hope to be in every Whole Foods in Canada by July. I've also developed a network of broker and distributor in the United States. So we're just starting now to, present that product to some of the major retailers there, whether it be it's Winn-Dixie or Publix or Kroger, et cetera. So a lot of exciting things. Now we're just heading out into the Quebec and that Atlantic part of the country. And this has just been in the last couple of weeks since we've gone into direct warehouse, which with Loblaws, which was a big step for us, which now opens the doors to Maxi stores and Provigo and great Atlantic superstores out east, and No Frills and your independent grocers out in that area. So a lot of things have been happening actually in the last several weeks. So, knock on wood, that continues for 2022, and we'll see where we end up.
That's excellent. Mario, it's been really great chatting with you, and I look forward to keeping in touch and hearing about the success of Be Sweet. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And we really appreciate what you're doing to help Canadian manufacturers and small companies like ourselves. We really do appreciate it. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.